arteries for powering electricity. When the artery is burst, then the entire system.
Federal government pledges to keep Ebola out of the country. Ministers give account at a midterm review of Buhari's presidency. Plus, 355 foreigners admitted into Nigeria as citizens. Welcome to this edition of NTA Network News with me, Muhammad Kuda Abubakar. Minister of Health, Professor Isaac Adewale, has urged Nigerians not to panic as the federal government remains committed to ensuring that Ebola disease is not imported into the country. This follows reported Ebola outbreak in the Congo. Health correspondent Rabi Abdallah has the report.
Of Ebola comes with apprehension because of the deadly nature of the disease. Although the current outbreak was reported in Congo, as experts will always say, one Ebola case constitutes a threat to the rest of the world. The minister was at the port's health stand at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport to ensure that the sophisticated thermal cameras installed at both the arrival and departure halls of the international wing of the airport are in perfect condition as the country steps up surveillance in detecting fever of any kind.
When we are at alert, we can prevent importation. We are reactivating and supporting port health services, both at sea, land, and airports. But even when there was no scare about Ebola, the thermal screeners were working. And so on a continuous basis, we were monitoring them without their knowing. We've also set up an emergency task team of 10 people ready to be moved to any part of Nigeria should in case an unwanted case accidentally entered Nigeria.
The minister advised Nigerians to pay attention to personal hygiene, hand wash, and other good health practices to keep Ebola and other diseases at bay. In Abuja, Rabi Abdallah, NTA News.
Africa is certainly the next destination for real development, says Acting President Yemi Osinbajo, as he expresses optimism on the ability of African countries to bridge the existing gap in infrastructural development. The Acting President stated this at an infrastructure summit in Abuja with the theme, The Infrastructure Revolution, organized to mark the 10th anniversary of the African Finance Corporation, AFC. State House correspondent Jide Onivade report.
Infrastructure remains a major challenge in delivering sustainable growth, Acting President Yemi Osinbajo observes as he addresses both local and international investors attending the African Finance Corporation's 10th anniversary in Abuja. The challenge, as he notes, has also provided numerous opportunities for the people and investors as the Buhari administration focuses on power generation, rail, and other infrastructural projects.
Governments that had always in the past been, the largest contributors to infrastructure, even when payment sometimes was never really always smooth. But they were able to offer sovereign guarantees or cash support. But today, that is no longer forthcoming.
But with huge debts hanging on the necks of African governments, finance corporations must find new ways of approaching governments, as so much now depend on such corporations, emphasizing that the private sector must take the lead while government provides necessary policies and environment.
So there's no question at all that government simply cannot compare with the power of the private sector and with the resources that the private sector can pull together.
At a panel discussion segment in which the acting president participated, panelists emphasized the need for strong partnership between government and the private sector, as well as among African countries.
I think one of the problems with talking about intra-Africa trade is always up there, and it needs to be here. It needs to be the discussions of what do you have that I need? And that way we can begin to actually actualize some of the potential.
Communication, ease of communication between states or between regions so that trade can flow very easily.
I think we should start thinking of the importance of that process in order for us to negotiate funds, to negotiate all development projects within a broader framework that will put us at an advantage. Of course, we are not at the same level. We have differences, we have different opportunities and challenges, but together we can make it.
What we need most in our continent is a period of respite, peace, and stability.
African Finance Corporation, since it was initiated in 2007 by former President Olusegun Obasanjo in Nigeria, now has 14 countries as members and has invested over $4 billion in infrastructural development projects across 30 African countries. In Abuja, Jide Onifate, NTA News.
Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed says the federal government is committed to its resolve to restructure and reposition the country on the path of transparency and accountability. The minister stated this when he led some cabinet ministers to present their scorecards at a town hall meeting in Abuja. Anthony Fosun reports.
Midterm special town hall meeting is coming ahead of the administration's second year in office. It is in line with this that the Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed gave the assurance that the federal government will leverage on the anniversary to rebuild its social contract with the citizens.
That future prosperity for all Nigerians was the governing objective of the administration. We were and will remain 100% committed to delivering an economy that enables all Nigerians to achieve their ambitions, no matter how big or small.
The minister said the framework put in place by the present administration to build a robust economy through diversification is on track.
We cannot be a hostage to oil price or production levels. That means taking back control of our economy and making it productive and delivering value for all of our people. By building an economy that is no longer reliant on income from one commodity, thanks to the ongoing diversification process, we will create a sustainable basis for long-term and inclusive growth for all.
Having decimated Boko Haram and restored normalcy in the northeast, the release of over 100 abducted Chibok schoolgirls is equally another milestone for the President Muhammadu Buhari-led government. The introduction of TSA, the minister said, has in no small way blocked leakages, while corruption and impunity has been brought to its lowest ebb. Minister of Defense Mansour Ali, in his presentation, was satisfied with the progress made by the present administration in stabilizing the nation through its proactive measures in tackling issues which has brought about safety of lives and property. Mansour Ali, however, noted that all these achievements wouldn't have been possible without raising the morale of the Nigerian armed forces.
The political commitment and the support of President Muhammadu Buhari gave boost to the key successes recorded by the military and other security agencies across the country.
Another area of interest is the confidence the international community has built in Nigeria,
especially in areas of training, intelligence sharing, and information management. This led to establishment of current what we call multinational joint task force to combat border crimes across the countries of Niger, Chad, Cameroon, and Benin. Hitherto, these countries were very difficult to negotiate with.
The kickoff of the town hall meeting series last year was designed to coincide with the administration's first year in office, and with this 10th edition, it has provided the administration the opportunity to interface with the citizens as it marks 2 years in office. In Abuja, Anthony Fosun, NTA News.
The Nigerian economy is likely to come out of recession earlier than anticipated as government puts in place measures to boost growth and encourage strong local consumption. Leah Katumbabatunde in this report captures efforts by 3 key economy-related federal ministries to grow the economy beyond oil, as presented at the town hall meeting in Abuja.
The Nigerian economy fell to its lowest ebb in 2 decades as major commodity-driven economies got weighed down by a global fall. It was led by a decline in crude oil prices in Nigeria and activities of militants in the Niger Delta, which resulted in a recession. However, The story did not begin there, as the present administration inherited a battered economy, which was further exacerbated by rising inflation, unemployment and foreign exchange rate. It is less than 2 weeks for this administration to clock 2 years, in time for stock-taking as well as charting a way forward. The former Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, she is optimistic that the financial strength of the economy will build more resilience for investments to thrive.
We see that there's a lot of revenue around government that we don't track properly. We're going to track it and direct it into the sectors where it's needed. So as we go forward, I want to just tell you that it's looking a lot better than it did this time last year, and it's going to get better.
Udoma Udoma, Minister of Budget and National Planning, affirms that resource mobilization indicates sustained inclusive growth and development is achievable.
We will be firing on multiple engines, the multiple engines of agriculture, of manufacturing, of solid minerals, of services, and not just a single engine of crude oil production.
With the macroeconomic environment being stabilized, Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Okechukwu Enalema, says government is repositioning the investment environment to boost confidence, ease of doing business and promote trade integration in and outside the country.
And since we've come on board, there has been a sustained work to build capacity, increase access to finance and eliminate bottlenecks that are sort of affecting businesses adversely.
The town hall meeting also availed the ministries the opportunity to feel the pulse of the public and reel out components of the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan (ERGP), government's 4-year plan to re-engineer growth, inclusiveness and development. In Abuja, I'm Lekachung Babatunde, NTA News.
Still on the town hall meeting, Minister of Power, Works and Housing Babatunde Fashola disclosed that thousands of jobs have been created in the power, works and housing sectors. Correspondent Oyina Akalu Oka reports.
Once we have the minister, Babatunde Fashola, who gave a breakdown of the achievements, challenges and plans of the ministry, said the budget size of the ministry was increased from about 67 billion in 2015 to more than 467 billion in 2016. He said this has impacted on the construction of abandoned roads, completion of some housing and power projects. The minister disclosed that 69,000 direct and indirect jobs were created in the power sector, while more than 69,000 jobs created in the works sector.
That we have now gained momentum, and it is impacting on the implementation of the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan launched by Mr. President.
From the Transportation Ministry, the Rail, Maritime Aviation and Ports Authority were said to have witnessed improvements. The minister, Rotimi Amechi, said government has put up measures to ensure rail services from Lagos to Kano and Port Harcourt to Maiduguri start running.
The other part of railway that there are two more parts. We've resumed work at Itabe Warri. Itabe Warri has been there for the past 34 years. The problem is that the 60 billion allocated in Itabe Warri has been removed by the National Assembly. I hope that will be resolved.
As the 10th edition of the town hall meeting comes to an end, participants commended government for its initiative in restructuring the housing, power and transportation sectors, but say a lot more needs to be done.
It goes a long way to show that the days of suffering in terms of transportation, especially rail transportation and the like, is as good as over.
I traveled to Lagos. At least you will experience a bit of comfort.
He said apart from the ongoing dredging of waterways, the completed dry port in Kaduna will be commissioned before July. Oyina Akalu Oka, NTA News.
The federal government is to engage the African Union and the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, in resolving the persistent herdsmen-farmers conflicts and rustlings in Nigeria. This is coming as the government began discussions with neighboring countries on the revival of the Lake Chad that has been drying up over the years. The Ministers of Agriculture and Rural Development, Audu Obe, and that of Water Resources, Suleiman Adamu, announced this at the midterm town hall meeting in Abuja. Musa Baba Aliu has details.
Before May 2015, when the present administration took over power, Nigeria was spending over 60% of our revenue on the importation of food items, especially rice, tomato paste, sugar, milk and other dairy products. To address this, therefore, the Buhari-led administration reviewed and repealed the National Food Production Policy with a view to providing enabling environment towards boosting national food production to meet the country's demand for assorted food items.
And what are we doing about rice? We have 20 giant rice mills with an average capacity of 100 tons a day operating. We have 200 rice mills to distribute in the next 2 weeks. They have arrived, some 10 tons a day, some 20, some 50. We advertise, people made bids. We're going to sell to them at 60% discount. The idea is to make it easy for those who want to participate, especially cooperatives of women and youth, to have access to agro-industry.
The minister, however, said farmers, herdsmen crisis and rustling remain a major threat to food security, and efforts are underway to address the menace.
The level of AU in West Africa will engage the World Bank and others to deal with it and stop this outdated style of rearing cattle, wandering around. Ranches, ranches, and ranches. That's about the only way forward.
The Minister of Water Resources, on his part, said the ministry is determined to complete all ongoing construction and rehabilitation of dams inherited from the last administration.
In the next few weeks, I think we're already setting in motion a process of bringing in 3 additional hydropower projects that will increase the generation from hydropower, apart from Mambila, which is being anchored by the Ministry of Power.
The Water Resources Ministry inherited 116 abandoned and uncompleted projects with a total cost of over 80 billion naira. In Abuja, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
The Abuja Chamber of Commerce and Industry has acknowledged the drive of the present administration to pay more attention to infrastructure development as captured in the 2017 budget. Director General of the Chamber, Chijoke Ekechiku, informed journalists at an interactive session in Abuja that adequate infrastructure is prerequisite for building a strong economy. Joy Uzo has details.
At the presentation of the 2017 budget before the joint session of the National Assembly last year, President Muhammadu Buhari disclosed that his administration would concentrate on infrastructure with priority to roads and rail projects. The Joint Committee on Appropriation on Passage raised the proposed budget figure of 7.298 trillion naira to 7.441 trillion naira, indicating an addition of about 143 billion naira. Reacting to the development, the Abuja Chamber of Commerce expressed the hope that the budget would be effectively implemented to meet the needs of Nigerians.
We expected to have a zero-based budgeting that we were promised, but again we saw that it was an incremental budget that we had. Anytime they pronounce anything they want to do, we should be able to believe them. So we want to believe that they are going to implement this one to its fullest.
The chamber also assuaged the fear of Nigerians that funding the budget might pose a huge challenge to the government given the current state of the economy.
It's difficult to find a country that has a surplus where you're going to fund your own budget.
The chamber advised government to ensure low interest rate loans for micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, and tackle multiple taxation to improve the nation's business environment and attract investors. In Abuja, Joy Uzo, NTA News.
335 foreign nationals have been presented with certificates of Nigeria's citizenship. Minister of Interior, Lieutenant General Abdurrahman Dambazo, announced that out of this figure, 245 foreigners naturalized, while 90 persons were given awarded citizenship who are women married to Nigerian men. Keji Busari Ahmed has details.
There were foreign nationals, businessmen and professionals in different fields living and operating in Nigeria. They have just been conferred upon with citizenship of Nigeria. Minister of Interior, Lieutenant General Abdurrahman Dambazo, says the conferment was in line with the present administration's policy, hinged on laying a solid political and economic foundation that would place Nigeria among the 20 great nations of the world.
Nigeria will benefit from the kind of investment they need, either as in business or as professionals.
You can do things to make ends meet. Shebi, I've been here for 40 years and I've been surviving.
Wife of the former Edo State Governor, Lara Adams Oshiomole, was among the recipients. Interior Ministry is charged partly with the responsibility to process an application for nationals who have contributed one way or the other to the development of the nation. They have gone through scrutiny, especially security checks. KG Busari Ahmed, NTA News.
You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. Up ahead, Senate threatens to move against government agencies yet to submit their 2017 budget reports. Details after the break.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
God will damage you with blessings. The wisdom where God gives you when you take the water, they find all these places where they sell better food. He never give Solomon one.
Thank you, sir. I submit the formula for enjoyment. Well, pass every other apprentice for this place.
Yes, sir. If anybody see fish and say it go better for you, that person they blind though. Because yesterday, today, and your future now they chop so.
But now no food be this one. Nah, here is the place they give me 4 times waiting I buy.
Isaka,
I can explain, sir.
Hey, Isaka, come back here.
Introducing Glow Formula. Get 4 times your recharge to make local and international calls. Text and browse. To recharge, dial *323 *PIN# to enjoy 4 times.
Wow. The largest data network, Glow Unlimited.
I can't believe she just rejected me and my camera.
She rejected my lights.
How can she not want makeup?
Maybe when the battery dies, she'll come back to us.
Nah, not with a 4,000 milliampere battery.
Experience the best selfies of your life. Gioni A1 Super Selfie Super Battery.
Rise up this morning, smile at the rising sun. 3 little birds pitch by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright. Singing, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be alright.
There's no limit to what you can do with data. With Nigeria's widest data network, it's amazing what you can make happen on MTN.
This is my message to you.
The attention of the management of Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs has been drawn to the activities of some unscrupulous individuals hiding under the name Niger Delta Ministry and its website ndaministry.org to defraud members of the public. For the avoidance of doubt, the ministry is known as Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, and its website is mnda.gov.ng. For further clarifications, please contact the ministry. Masha Gundu, Director Press, Announcer.
Have you seen the new Opera Mini?
Browse faster. Get the latest news download videos, and extend your data so you can browse all day.
Upgrade to Opera Mini.
Download now for free.
Winning in hot and dry conditions is hard. Causes the body to sweat, which attracts germs that are easily passed from one person to another.
What keeps you so cool, man?
Dettol Cool combines Dettol's protection and an invincible icy feel. For super cool confidence, use Dettol Cool.
It is with joy that I've received Our Excellency's gifts.
I want to say that may God continue to bless and reward her. And so, on behalf of Garki Hospital, we are grateful.
Welcome back to NTA Network News. The Senate has threatened to move against the federal government, corporations and agencies yet to submit their 2017 budget report to the legislature. National Assembly correspondent Wazir Zayano reports that this followed a point of order raised by Deputy Senate Majority Leader Bala Ibn Na'Allah.
Senator Bala Ibn Na'Allah noted that no single agency has submitted its budget report.
We have not received one single report regarding the submission of budget apparatus, which was supposed to have been given by September.
We are saying that the following agencies who ought to have submitted their own appropriation their own estimate, along with the main appropriation in line with this Fiscal Responsibility Act, have not done so. And they are Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC, Bureau of Public Enterprise, National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure.
Senate President Bukola Saraki warned that affected agencies will be barred from spending from their capital project. The Senate also summoned the Minister of Transport, Rotimi Amechi, to explain why Eastern Corridor of the country's rail line was excluded from the proposed China Exim Bank loan. While presenting a motion, Senator Einaya Abaribe noted that the required Chinese Exim Bank loan only covers the rehabilitation of a section of the country.
The loan, being a federal government borrowing, will be paid for by all sections of the country. And therefore, every section of the country should be taken into consideration.
While contributing, some senators said connectivity should be given priority in the country's development.
When the Buhari government came in, the idea of providing rail infrastructure as approved initially from Lagos to Calabar and Lagos to Kano took into cognizance Aba and Onitsha.
From the National Assembly, Wazir Zayan, NTA News.
Still at the National Assembly, members of the House of Representatives have condemned what they described as arbitrary change of names by some Nigerians, describing it as a threat to Nigeria's security and intelligence. To check the development, the legislators are now considering a bill that seeks to regulate and prohibit arbitrary change of names. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nko reports that the bill has been passed at second reading.
It has been a constant feature in some Nigerian dailies to read numerous applications for change of names. In some cases, not just the surname or the first names are changed, but all of them, thereby creating an entirely new identity. And to ensure that names are only changed on legal grounds, members of the House of Representatives have now passed for second reading a bill for an act to regulate and prohibit arbitrary change of names in Nigeria, sponsored by Representative Stephanus Gyang from Plateau State.
And I emphasize again, arbitrary change of name by persons whose motives, intentions, and activities are suspect and may constitute a threat to national security.
Pension matters came up on the floor as the legislators also passed for second reading a bill for an act to amend the Pension Reform Act of 2014, which seeks to exclude members of the Nigerian Police Force and other paramilitary agencies from the application of the contributory pension scheme. The bill is sponsored by Representative Wole from Osun State.
Mr. Speaker, the intention of this bill is to allow federal government to pay the pension of these security men 100%.
The House urged the Inspector General of Police to deploy police officers to Sisa community of Delta State over the recent killing of some of its indigents as moved by Representative Nicholas Osai Nicholas from Delta State.
And urge the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to provide relief materials said there's hunger in the land.
It also implored the Inspector General of Police and the Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Commission to ensure that bullion van drivers and their escorts observe road traffic laws, moved by Representative Alexander Adekola from Ekiti State. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
The federal government has renewed commitment to building a resilient cyber defense as cyber criminals are becoming increasingly more organized and aggressive through continuous cybersecurity breaches, resulting in significant financial losses globally. Minister of Communications Adebayo Shitu stated this at the 2017 Cybersecurity Conference in Abuja. Olayinka Ojo reports.
Available statistics puts the cost of cybercrime globally at over $700 billion per year, and it is projected to rise to about $2 trillion by 2019. Nigeria loses over 127 billion naira annually, which translates to about 0.08% of GDP. Hence, the Cyber Secure Nigeria 2017 with the theme, Building Resilient Cyber Defense.
You should therefore feel free to submit to me any doable blueprint for my dispassionate consideration and immediate implementation.
Making reference to last week's WannaCry ransomware attack, which wreaked havoc and shut down over 200,000 systems in over 100 countries, President Cybersecurity Experts Association of Nigeria, Remi Afon, urged government to allocate budgets for building cyber defenses.
For Nigeria to bring cybersecurity to the next level, we need to implement our national cybersecurity strategy and policy.
It's not something the security services can do alone, because a lot of issues relating to protection boil down to common sense.
Other speakers at the event canvassed the need to grow a vibrant cybersecurity ecosystem that will protect digital Nigeria. Olayinka Ojo, NTA News.
The Nigerian Air Force has reiterated its commitment to continue to place premium on capacity building and collaboration with relevant agencies in its bid to build a well-equipped Air Force. Chief of Air Staff Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar reiterated this when he received the Minister of Communications Adebayo Shitu at the Nigerian Air Force headquarters, Abuja. Olajide Bello has details.
The complexity in the 21st century battle space no doubt largely depends on effective use of information and communication technologies. It is in view of these that the Ministry of Communications is seeking collaboration with the Nigerian Air Force to explore ways of further partnership to improve communications in air operations. Minister of Communications Adebayo Shitu identified spectrum administration, networking services and ICT roadmap waiting for approval as beneficial in air operations.
Since the Ministry of Communications is the one saddled with responsibility for advancing science and for ensuring that technology and innovations are utilized to bring about peace and security,
We replaced all the companies that were there with our own midterm search. Right now, we are also collaborating with them in the area of seeing how we can downstream from our airplanes that are surveillance airplanes, so that we can have the information that the aircraft is having, even in these headquarters.
The Chief of the Air Staff said the Nigerian Air Force will restructure and reposition to have a proficient Air Force that will at all times defend the country's territorial integrity. In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Protection, promotion and enforcement of human rights in line with the international standards are expected to continue to be focal points of security personnel in any counter-insurgency operations. This was the consensus of stakeholders at a training organized by the National Human Rights Commission and the United Nations High Commission for Refugees on mainstreaming human rights, humanitarian principles and civilian protection into counter-insurgency operations in the Northeast, held in Yola. Bilkisu Abubakar now reports.
The training of security personnel on mainstreaming human rights, humanitarian principle, and civilian protection into counter-insurgency operations in the Northeast is a deliberate attempt to ensure security personnel exhibit high sense of professionalism and eschew from any act that will lead to violation of human rights despite the challenges being encountered.
Is it possible to avoid collateral damages while fighting insurgency? Balancing security and human rights therefore becomes an imperative.
What are the factors that are mitigating? What are the factors that are preventing us from mainstreaming, from ensuring the protection of the rights of these individuals?
The security personnel who explains ordeals and experiences in fighting insurgency said the training will enhance their capacity to totally wipe out cases of insurgency in the Northeast without violation of anyone's rights.
I believe for a long time now, with the incidences or the reports on human rights abuses have reduced.
In Yola, Bilkis Abubakar, NTA News.
This is NTA Network News. It's time to link up with Jennifer Igwe in Lagos for more news.
Thank you, Kudu. Good evening and a warm welcome to Lagos. Nigeria's shrimp fisheries got a boost following a positive assessment by total excluded device inspectors from the United States Department of State in Lagos. The approval is a nod for continuous export of shrimps from Nigeria to the United States and beyond. In 2004, Nigeria was banned from exporting shrimp products to the United States of America because trawlers from the nation were not well equipped with Total Excluder Device, TED. The move cost the nation millions of dollars. The error was strategically corrected and the ban was lifted. Over the years, the nation has been consistent in upholding the global standard of shrimp trawlers being equipped with Total Excluder Device.
So it is economically important that we should continue to export so that we can continue to have earnings, foreign exchange from that angle.
Voluntary inspections like these every 2 years by inspectors from the United States Department of State is to ensure that the eco-friendly Total Excluder Device standard is maintained.
We're confident that they will continue to maintain a program that will be comparable in effectiveness to that of the United States, and they will continue to be certified to export wild-caught shrimp.
It gives assurance to other countries that Nigeria has no problem with sustainable harvesting of resources from the wild.
The sea turtle is an endangered species and on the global red list of creatures facing extinction. It plays a crucial role in stabilizing the aquatic ecosystem and diminishing the number of poisonous jellyfish that affects more edible fisheries. Nations around the world agreed and decided to create the Total Excluder Device to ensure that trawlers do not hunt turtles as bycatch. Now, building a sustainable economic structure through a detailed budget execution and an all-inclusive economic growth have been identified as antidotes to recession and unemployment. A university don, Professor Ademola Ario, stated this at the first public lecture of the Faculty of Management Science, National Open University of Nigeria in Lagos. Abolade Salami has the details.
With the topic budgeting and Nigeria's sustainable development, some key management imperatives, Professor Ademola Areya said over the years, the country has been engulfed with a habit of earn and spend syndrome without regards to the nation's capacity to productively utilize revenue bonds. The aspect of budgeting focusing only on inventing projects as avenue to squander national resources, he noted, has negatively affected infrastructural and human development.
We take our responsibility to make sure that we help our government where the nation's interest comes first.
With the 2017 budget, we have a budget for the first time that is focused on infrastructure development.
If management is taken out of body, the specific organ, or out of the implementation processes and stages of our national budget, then budgeting and all the processes that went into it is dead.
If there is no goal and you go into budgeting, you'll be creating for some other places to prefer do away with the money.
Stakeholders arrived at a consensus that for national budget to deliver on economic and infrastructural growth, irrespective of the mineral wealth and natural resources the country is endowed with, appropriate checks and balances as enshrined in the 1999 Constitution must be adhered to. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
You're still watching NTA Network News. We have more reports ahead on the news from Abuja with Kudu after this time out. Stay tuned.
Oh, it's happy hour. So, you want a free Coca-Cola, but you have to drink it here.
I can't believe she just rejected me and my camera.
She rejected my lights. How can she not want makeup?
Maybe when the battery dies, she'll come back to us.
Nah, not with a 4,000 milliampere battery.
Experience the best selfies of your life. Gioni A1 Super Selfie Super Battery.
The Administrative Staff College of Nigeria, ASCON, invites directors, deputy directors, assistant directors, chief administrative officers in the federal, state, and local governments, top female officers in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Police, Customs, Immigration, Federal Road Safety Corps, prisons, National Security and Civil Defense Corps, including all parastatal organizations and their counterparts in the private sector, to its 5-day leadership workshop for women. Workshop content: mainstreaming gender into policy-making process, overview of gender issues in organization, the power of attitude, leadership and motivation skills, emotional intelligence for leaders, coaching, networking and mentoring skills, problem-solving and decision-making skills, time and stress management skills. Date: Monday 22nd to Friday 26 May 2017. Venue: ASCON Topo Badagry. Arrival date: May 21st 2017. Workshop fee: 85,000 naira. For more information, please contact Mrs. M. Oshenebo, Director of Studies, on 080-330-88163 or Mrs. P. Babalola on 080-344-67728. Announcer: Director General, ASCON.
Issues in the sports sector remain one of the most debated among Nigerians due to the passion, followership, government involvement, impact on Nigeria's external image and our national life in the sports parliament. The NTA offers Nigerians deep views on issues with experts in the sports sector, offering in-depth analysis, insight and oversight towards elevating Nigerian sports to the zenith of the sports parliament.
The benefits that accrued in school sports, it is the bedrock of any nation.
A few Nigerians wanted the status quo to continue. So I don't think we should put all Nigerians and say Nigerians don't follow the trend, because the smart ones, we are following.
The National Sports Lottery Fund, shrouded in secrecy.
The fact that the Super Eagles played an NTA, not only NTA, no Nigerian broadcaster, In fact, no broadcaster anywhere in the world from our records was able to bring that much. It's a matter of concern.
Issa Hayatu was president for 29 years. He lost the election in Addis, and that's it. He's gone.
Sports Parliament, a unique platform for sports discussions, showing live on the NTA, Thursdays at 11 p.m. Keep a date with parliamentarians.
The eyes have it.
Nigerians. Suicide bombers are not spirits. They are not ghosts. They are human beings like you and me. They live amongst us. They are your neighbors. They are your friends today, but terrorists tomorrow. So you must know your neighbor now. Security begins with you and me. Know your neighbor. Be vigilant. Be security conscious. Report suspicious persons, objects, and movements to the police and other security agencies. The security of our nation is a duty for you and me.
If you see something, say something. Nigeria unite against terrorism. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Nigeria's monthly inflation rate has fallen to 17.24% in April from 17.26% in March. And the world oil prices rise after a joint announcement by top oil producers. Here's Chazala Mekia with details of this and more on Business News.
A warm welcome to Business News. Latest figures from the National Bureau of Statistics reveal that annual inflation in Nigeria is for the third straight month in April, inching down to 17.24% from 17.26% in March. However, food price index shows inflation rose to 19.30% from 18.44% in March. This is the third consecutive month of a decline in the headline rates, showing some effects of ease in already high food and non-food prices. The federal government says federal economic recovery plan is on the path of success, as shown in the response to the new economic measures. Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Trade and Investments, Budget and National Planning, Finance, Transport as well as Agriculture presented scorecards of their ministries at a town hall meeting in Abuja. World oil prices rose on Tuesday, extending gains after a joint announcement by top producers. Similarly, OPEC crude production rose by 65,000 barrels per day in April to 31.78 million barrels per day as a result of higher output from Nigeria and Saudi Arabia. Crude production was cut down to 335,000 barrels per day compared to April last year. And a quick check on trading activities on the Nigerian stock market today. That's the package. I'm Chiazala Mekia. The news continues. Don't go away.
To mark the inauguration of its new factory complex in Kaduna, El Jahab Mubarak Nigeria Limited, the only indigenous producer of all types of uniforms and specialized embroidery, has staged an exhibition to showcase its specialty to major clients within and outside Nigeria. Muhammad Abubakar reports.
Since 1988, when they were granted approval by the federal government to commence the production of such special needs for the armed forces, the company has been in the forefront in their kitchen and other paramilitary bodies with handmade accoutrements, among others. The exhibition in Kaduna, grades by its major clients from the defense headquarters and other paramilitary bodies, was mainly to unveil to the public more state-of-the-art equipment installed to meet up the teeming demands of its clients within and outside Nigeria. Managing Director of the company, Alhaji Ja'far San Abdul Qadir, while appealing for support to do more in the effort to make Nigeria become self-sufficient in so many fronts, said, as at now, more than 200 young Nigerians are under their payroll.
We are the only company producing accoutrement locally for the support of federal government industrialization policy.
Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, General Abayomi Gabriel Olonishakin, was represented by Air Commodore Ibrahim Tijani.
He has more than almost 300 employees here. If everybody can do that, I think the economy will improve more than this, because the government cannot do it alone.
I was highly impressed with what I saw at Air Jahab. I will recommend him for the Inspector General of Police for future patronage.
Apart from the traditional handmade embroidery, the company is capable of providing services relating to computerized designing, laser printing, and souvenirs, among others. In Kaduna, Muhammad Abubakar, NTA News.
To meet emerging trends in broadcast industry and the transition from analog to digital broadcasting, the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, has commenced a review of its broadcasting code. Elizabeth Yila Lamido reports from Kano that broadcasters from different media organizations are attending the 3-day retreat.
The need to ensure professionalism in broadcasting necessitates the review, which will serve as a central document that keeps broadcasters in check. The Director General, NBC, Isiak Modi Bokawu, says the intention is to produce a guiding document that will serve as a code of conduct for professional engagement in the Nigerian broadcasting industry.
It's the most important guiding document for professional engagement in Nigerian broadcasting.
Representative of the Governor of Kano State, Alhaji Usman Alhaji, says the review is timely.
Where experts and the key players gather in such great number, there can be no doubt that fruitful deliberations are in the offing.
Chairman of the NBC Code Review Committee, Vincent Maduka, speaks.
The digitization of broadcasting, for instance, has not been adequately taken care of by the existing code. Therefore, the revision will go a long way to bringing up the code in line with the latest developments in the broadcasting industry.
Our views will be considered and reflected in the final code, which will guide the industry for the next 5 years.
The issue of content is very, very paramount. You see, we don't need these analog transmitters we have. Almost everything is gone satellite. So the issue of content, and that is where the code of conduct comes.
Highlight of the opening ceremony was presentation on hate speech, conflict-sensitive reporting, as well as gender issues. In Kano, Elizabeth Ilalamido, NTA News.
Back in Abuja, Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu has enjoined Nigerians to support President Muhammadu Buhari in governance and pray for his well-being. He stated this at the PDP expanded zonal meeting in Enugu West Senatorial District. Chimaobi Walter Nnaji has the report.
Senator Ike Ekweremadu said prayers for the speedy recovery of President Buhari has become necessary so that he can return to office and continue to lead and transform the nation.
It is our prayer that he shall recover and return to the country at the earliest possible time. We'll continue to pray for his health, a vision for him, for wisdom, and God will continue to protect him. And God, who is the physician of all physicians, will heal him and give him back his health and return to us as soon as possible to continue to lead this great country.
The Deputy Senate President noted that the expanded zonal meeting of Enugu West PDP, which provided the platform to assess the performance of the present administration in Enugu State, came up with the resolution to support Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi because the zone is satisfied with his good governance. Enugu State Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi, while thanking the people for their solidarity, announced the state government's plan to reorganize some key sectors to enhance its performance.
I want to assure you that in the name of the Almighty God, I'll continue to serve you with the fear of God.
Representatives of Enugu West Zone at the Federal House of Representatives attributed the stability in the state government to the cordial working relationship between the governor and the representatives at the National Assembly. In Ogu, Chimaobi Walter Nnaji, NTA News.
Up ahead, Global Tidbits, some sports news, and Wednesday's weather forecast. Don't go away.
Consolidating the gains of the 2017 National Security Conference. This is the focus of this week's edition of Tuesday Live. Tuesday Live, incisive, educative, and informative. Don't miss it.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is working to ensure access to safe, good quality essential medicines with the World Health Organization pre-qualification of made in Nigeria pharmaceutical products, stiffer penalties for fake drug offenders with a review of NAFDAC laws, national, regional, and international collaborations, cutting-edge technologies, including the mobile authentication service.
NAFDAC impacts upon everything we do, including water we drink, the food we eat. They are important organs to the development of this country. And everybody should come out and join them and support them and help them to achieve the greatest benefits and success that they need to record.
Let us support NAFDAC to win the war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
We'll now bring you stories from the international scene. Chimdima Ndubisi has the global tidbits.
President has written to top government officials instructing security operatives to end torture of suspected criminals. The president said using torture might force an innocent person to admit guilt. And Côte d'Ivoire's government has begun paying soldiers who engaged in a 4-day mutiny demanding payback and bonuses. Some of them have confirmed receiving bank alerts. The mutinous soldiers were former rebels that helped oust ex-president Laurent Gbagbo. In another development, United States President Donald Trump has defended his action in sharing a top-secret material with Russia. This, he believes, is his absolute right and conviction that Russia could do more in curbing terrorism and maintaining airline safety. That's Global Tidbits. Chimdima Ndubisi, NTA News.
Kenema Wedike is here with the sport update.